This incident happened in 1992. I was the second child in the family. When my mother was pregnant with me, she fell down the stairs and was later admitted to the hospital. I was born on the way to the hospital. My childhood was not a happy one at all. I never felt the warmth of a family. My father was a gambler who would beat me and my mother for no reason. My father worked as a stevedore at the docks and my mother was a full-time wife. My father lost his job because of the economic downturn. After he lost his job, he never found a suitable job. Our life became more difficult. He began to drink heavily, and in the beginning, he would go to the bar twice a week. But later on, he would basically go every day. After a year of this, my father finally found a job. I thought our life would return to normal, but my dad continued to drink. Every time he drank, he would hit my mom, and my mom was very afraid of him. I remember it was a very cold night. Dad was out drinking again and wasn't even home very late. Mom told my brother and me to go to bed first. Then she turned on the gas in the kitchen. She closed all the windows so that the outside air couldn't come in. Even though I was only 4 years old, I knew she was going to do something terrible. It felt like she was losing her mind and I prayed for her to stop this. She kept yelling at me to go to sleep. I slept next to my brother and I was so scared, my heart was beating so fast. I started to cry and I closed my eyes and prayed. There was less and less oxygen in the air and I felt very sleepy. The room was soon filled with carbon monoxide and I started coughing non-stop. I slowly lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I saw a beautiful light appear at the window. I felt an intense love that I had never felt before. I saw a figure with a light emanating around him. He took my hand and was ready to lead me out of here. I looked back into the room and saw my mother and brother lying on the floor as if they were no longer breathing. I tried to get the door open, but I couldn't. Then, he and I left the room. We were floating in the air. From outside, I could see him more clearly. He was like the Jesus described in the Bible. His face was glowing and his eyes were so deep. On his chest was a golden cross with golden circles around it. We kept floating upward. Before my eyes appeared a huge tree, which shone brightly. There were many small animals around the tree, and they were getting along harmoniously. I felt very relaxed here, I could breathe freely, and I no longer felt tired. The scene was beautiful. Some of the animals I saw for the first time were very different from the animals on Earth. They were very friendly, as if we knew each other. At the bottom of the trees, I saw many children with different skin colors. Each one was unique and beautiful at the same time. Everyone was happy. They were playing and running on the lawn. There was a beautiful statue in the center of the garden. A little further up, I saw a lot of people. People were smiling and the atmosphere was full of love. There were flowers of all colors around the fountain. People were sitting around, talking and smiling to each other. As I continued on, I could see a large group of older people. They looked very energetic and they were walking along the river. Suddenly, I thought of my mother, who I knew was still suffering. I knew I had to get out of here. I prayed to him to go back and save my mother. Suddenly, we appeared in front of the neighbor's house. The neighbor was a 60-year-old grandfather who was very close to our family. I called out his name. The old grandfather came out of the house. When he opened the door, he didn't see anyone. He thought it was someone's prank and he was getting ready to go back to his house. I saw Jesus close his eyes. He put his right hand in the air and the door to my house opened. Old Grandpa looked over at my house and he smelled the gas in my house. He kept knocking on my bedroom door, but there was no response. He tried to force the door open, but it was already unlocked from the inside. Then, his son came too. His son was very strong and broke right through the room door. They reached the bedroom and carried us out. My mother had regained consciousness, and my brother and I were still lying on the floor. They helped us with CPR. After a while, I regained a little consciousness. When I was ready to thank Jesus, he was gone. I knew it was not a dream, everything was real. My neighbor asked my mom, "Why did you do such a crazy thing?" My mom didn't know how to answer. I wanted to say something, but my mom's eyes kept on me. I know it was a miracle that Jesus saved us.